Hey, what's going on? Today, let's talk about bike saddles and how they should fit. So a lot of times people come see me to get a bike fit because they have saddle discomfort, they're just not feeling good, they're having numbness, they're having soft tissue pressure. Sometimes they're having saddle sores or chafing, things like that. And a lot of times that is not necessarily related to the actual saddle itself. And that's, so this actually fits them well, but the bike fit needs some adjustments. So the seat height needs to go up or down, the seat needs to go forward, aft, needs to move back and forth. Some things like that. Maybe there's some issues in the foot, in the pedals. The handlebars could be too high, too far out, putting too much pressure on them. So there's a ton of things that go into saddle discomfort. It's not always if this then that, but a lot of people that come in and see me, it's because of a saddle issue. Now, we can get your saddle height dialed in, we get your foot doing what it's needing to do, we get the forward aft good, we get the relation from the seat to the handlebars, we get that all lined up, we get it all where it needs to be in the good solid ranges, and the seat still doesn't feel good. That happens, but we have solutions to that. And the things that people need to think about when they think about saddle discomfort, or a saddle pressure issue, or anything that has to do with where and how they are sitting on the bike. The seat can cause so many issues, but it may just not be the right seat for you. If we have the fit dialed in and that is in a really good range and everything looks comfortable and looks where it needs to be, but you're still having issues, it may be simply because the saddle doesn't fit your pelvis, it doesn't fit your anatomy, it doesn't fit the way that you sit on the bike. And so I have my friend Elvis here to show you what we're after. So we got our sit bones right here. So when I'm sitting straight up and down on the bike, that is what we sit on, right? So we have props today, folks. So we're sitting straight up and down on the saddle, straight up and down on the bike. That is what you are feeling. Those are the two bones that go into the seat. Now what happens, especially on a triathlon bike or a time trial bike, or we get rolling forward to grab and get in a little bit lower position, the pelvis rolls forward on the seat to get into a lower front end and get our upper body lower. Now what we don't want to see happen is that whenever you roll forward is that the saddle does not support you and actually goes up into that soft pressure, soft tissue area. We want it to always be supported. So we want that structure to always be supported. I brought several saddles out to show you what I'm talking about. So we're sitting on the seat this way. When we roll forward, we still want the seat to be underneath the bone, okay? Does that make sense? So here, sitting on our sit bones, we roll the pelvis forward to get lower. We still want structural support on the saddle. So the big problem is whenever people roll forward on the saddle, or if the saddle's too narrow for their body, the saddle goes into the soft tissue pressure, right? So they get numbness on guys, you can have erectile issues, women just have massive soft tissue discomfort. And it's because those bones fall off the saddle and the saddle actually goes up into the soft tissue area. So this can cause a ton of issues. And it can be from a variety of things. It could be because the saddle is actually too narrow for you, okay? So this part is too narrow for your actual sit bones. And it could be a bike fit issue. Or if you notice, when you're looking at saddles, they're all different shapes, right? So this one's really wide back here and it gets really narrow quickly and then has a really long front end, where this one is more of a wedge shape and it's fairly wide the entire time and the entire width. So back here they may be the exact same width, but up front this one's a lot wider than this one. So let's say we do all the things and we try to get your saddle dialed in, we got all seat height and stuff going on. Now it's time to pick a saddle and find which one's right for you. The only way you can do this is trial and error. I have a saddle changer in here. We can put them on there and we can actually take a saddle off and put it back on in seconds, which is amazing because then you know instantly, I like this one, I don't like this one, and we can change them out and you can really sense what the last one felt like instead of getting off the bike, waiting 5 minutes, getting it set back up, getting back on, you're like, well, I don't remember what the other one felt like. So with the saddle changer that I have, we can pop them on and off. I mean, we can do them in seconds, so you know exactly which one that you like the best. When you get on a good fitting saddle that supports your structure and not put you on soft tissue, you instantly know this is the right one for me. Now, things that can go wrong on saddles is that they can be too wide, right? So that causes some rubbing on the inside of your thigh, inside of your leg, or it can cause some hamstring bunching. So on the back here where your leg comes out, right? So if the saddle's too wide and your leg comes out, you're gonna see that your leg is actually rubbing, well, it's kind of hard to see on here, but your leg rubs up and down right here, and that hamstring right underneath your glute kind of gets pinched right there, and it hurts really, really bad. That could just simply be because the saddle's too wide for you, or the actual shape of the saddle does not fit your anatomy really well. So we have a ton. We have so many different designs out there now. You have the ISM or the split nose version of saddle that actually completely takes you off of soft tissue pressure. There's no way, and you are going to sit on bone here, but sometimes these saddles are too wide for folks. Some people like a traditional style saddle, fits great for them. Some people hate that. Again, like this saddle, it's more of a wedge shape, but maybe that's too wide for you back here and you kind of get that hamstring bunching. Some people this saddle works amazing for. So you just never know. But the coolest new product that I got in the shop, and I'm super excited about this. I had one in the shop the other day and it lasted less than 24 hours before it went out the door on a bike. So it's the Bi-Saddle by Bike Fit. And the only reason I'm showing this one specifically and talking about it a little bit more than these other ones, because these other ones I use every single week and put them on bikes every single week, and people love them and have no issues or no complaints with them. But with this saddle right here, it is amazing and awesome for those people that were having a really tough time finding a saddle that fits them or feels comfortable to them and actually supports their structure. Remember, we want the saddle to be structural support, not soft tissue. We want all the pressure off the soft tissue. But the cool thing about this saddle is it's completely customized. So we can move the outside, the back, we can make wider to fit a wider pelvis. We can move the front a little bit wider or narrower to fit, to get you off that soft tissue pressure. But also narrowing it up a little bit to make sure it's not too wide on the front end for you so it doesn't rub your thigh. So this saddle can move every different direction, which is absolutely awesome. And also it has these wedges that go underneath the saddle to make it perfectly flat, or it can make it really very round. And basically what that does really well, so if we have something we need a little bit wider like this, to get good support on the seat bones back here, if we put that in there and give it a little bit more round, it'll actually give you a little bit more clearance. So it's wide enough to support the structure, but it actually has that little bit of slope here to keep you from having that hamstring binding. Super, super cool product. But they also have one, if you like that short nose version of a saddle. So they have two different versions. These are super cool. I know I'm going to use these a ton, especially for those people that have issues finding something that fits them really well. So just remember, whenever you're talking about a bike fit saddle, or you're having saddle pain and discomfort, it's not always the seat. It's not always this that's the problem. It could be your bike fits that is the problem. And this is actually what you have on your bike is actually the best saddle for you. But we don't know that until we get your seat height adjusted, we get your forward aft adjusted, we look at your cleat position, we look at what's going on inside your shoe with your foot, we look at how you're handling and reaching out and grabbing the bars, and all those kinds of things. It's not always the seat. Sometimes it's the bike fit. Sometimes it is the seat. And we got a whole wall to choose from if we ever need that. So hit me up if your saddle's hurting. Let's talk about your options. Let's see what's actually causing the problem, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys.